It's the Friday night recap. Catching Kenny taking a quick swig of the water, get himself fresh because we got some scores to go through. Y'all saw us yesterday, but now we have a Friday night edition, which with a lot less scores, but we're going to combine all of Thursdays and Friday scores. We're going to give you the analysis of Week 9 because we're getting down and dirty here. And fellas, we all were at one game today. We were all at three games. Well, you guys were at three games today. I was at one game, but we were all at the same one. Allen against Prosper. And Kenny, you talked to me about it after the game. Usually games that we hype up so much they don't live up to the hype. I'll be darned if that game did not live up to the hype.
It was interesting. I was telling you before, I interviewed some Allen players and some Prosper players back in August, and they both kind of target, this date, but not trying, coaches talk week to week, week to week, week to week. But in talking to the Allen players after that game, believe me, that they had them in their mind. It wasn't just week to week.
It was a heck of a game. What did you think of it, Dixie?
I came away at halftime because I gave the Allen multiple scores. I was like, okay, multiple scores. We got Allen gonna take care of business. I think I came away actually thinking Prosper played a little bit better over the 48 minutes. So, there's the double forward pass that was very controversial that, you could go backward. Okay, you take that away. But it just felt like Prosper had more to give. Like if they would have got the extra point, if they would have got the field goal at the end, if they would have cleaned up some things. And all of this is at the same time that I'm just shaking my head at why are they not running the ball?
Yes,
Use that offensive line and pound the dang rock, Prosper. Man, I feel like we saw two of the best five teams in the state playing, to all due respect to your Houston side of your side of the world, that I think we saw some really good football teams. It was great. I think we're not going to get to see this rematch. I think a Plano school is going to make the playoffs, so I think we're going to see Prosper going D2. But that means we'll probably get Prosper South Lake Carroll, which will probably be just as sweet of an appetizer.
Absolutely. And we didn't do any favors to that poor kicker that missed the extra point because we could have got him closer, but we being Prosper, decided not to take a timeout home with us, maybe wrap it up for Christmas, give it to somebody for a Christmas present.
It's like the bobblehead of timeouts. It is a beautiful timeout. We're just going to give it away to everybody. But again, I bet if you talk to that coach, he would say, I screwed up. I think he would take full responsibility. I think he thought that, man, we could just get in there quick, 5-second out, maybe have 15, 16, have two timeouts, throw across the middle of the field, but it just didn't work out like that.
Right. Yeah, and it's like I said, you don't get that one again. I didn't even see the missed extra point. I was too busy shooting cutaways of the fans. All of a sudden, I was like, at some point, they're going to put this other point up there. Never happened. Let's, as Kenny tries to get his internet together, let's go through some of these scores. 3-6A, let's run these real quickly because they were yesterday. Crowley wins 30-21. Lake Ridge wins 63-46. And North Crowley with the 69-17 win. Moving on to 4-6A. We only had two today. Byron Nelson with the big blowout win of Northwest. South Lake Carroll was only up 14-0 at the half, but they had 700 total yards. I mean, South Lake is just South Lake. They're just going to do whatever you want. We're going to talk a little bit later about 10-6A. You can't afford an injury. I think South Lake could probably afford a nagging thing, one or two of them, and still get through the season with like 500 yards each, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely dominant in that game. It took him a little while to get that engine going. I don't know, the 4 p.m. start or whatever, but big 49-0 win. What about Byron Nelson? 41-3 over Justin Northwest. Justin Northwest kind of did this last year where, they started out strong and then sputtered at the end. This is a rivalry game, an absolutely dominant win by Byron Nelson.
I don't know if Carice got any kind of yardage in that game. Carice Sellers having such a great year. 5-6A, all these games were yesterday. Capel wins after struggling. Louisville wins in triple overtime. Denton Guyer over Little Elm easily. And the Mound Showdown goes again to Marcus, same as it's been the last 4 years. All right, there's the one we were talking about. Allen over Prosper 31-30. But how about Plano West? They played a depleted Princeton team, and they gave the ball to Jordan Grant the whole night. He got 149 yards and 4 touchdowns. They had 377 total yards. 348 of it was on the ground. Probably had a lot to do. Well, the weather maybe not have came in at the time, but they just pounded them. 56 points. That's putting them in the driver's seat for a playoff spot, right?
If you come join our podcast, we kind of warned you about this. Princeton just didn't have anything left in the tank. They lost their best player on both sides of the ball. A couple other key players are out, and Plano West just has too much. Princeton is kind of reverting back to the old Princeton. I worry about Princeton next week because if you remember, Ward, last year they played Prosper in the game where they got 80 put up on them after this Allen Prosper game last year. Now you got Prosper's going to be pretty mad about what happened this week, and they're going to be taking on a depleted Princeton squad. That could get ugly real quick. But Princeton is still they still have a little bit of control over their destiny. They're going to have 4 losses. I think McKinney Boyd could beat Princeton in week 11, which I think will completely eliminate them. Plano West is in an awkward situation because, as we'll talk about on the dump, I'll kind of give you the flow chart. Plano versus Rock Hill is the first game we need to look at. If Plano wins that game, they've got 3 losses. They'll be in because they're done after that game. Rock Hill is their only game that they have left. They'll be in that 3 spot. And then it kind of gets to everybody else. Plano West, Rock Hill, and Princeton, we're going to be going to tiebreakers on that. But if Rock Hill wins, that's going to pull Plano into that tiebreaker. Plano West has already beat both of those, so Plano West would probably enjoy Rock Hill beating Plano because that gives them a little bit of an expedited route into the playoff picture.
If you were to pick today, though, what would you go with?
I think I'd be going with Rock Hill and Plano West as probably the best, most 2 consistent teams in the district at the 3 and 4 spot.
I can dig it. Good to have you back, Kenny, by the way.
Yes.
Good to have you back. All right.
It's raining, man. It's raining, Ward. We got to shut down the internet. Shut down the city.
It's stopped thundering in Carrollton. Thank you.
Expect this mess. All right. These games, except for Pierce was today, and they beat an Irving squad, so congratulations. Not by much, but they did get a victory, so that's always good to get the big V.
That's still concerning. I mean, just the continual Richardson Pierce messing around 30-28, and we didn't even get to have 2 of these scores up yesterday. We didn't have the Berkner score and the Lake Highlands score. But next week, Ward, Richardson versus Lake Highlands for the district championship. If Richardson can win by 7, they will flip that thing over and take it home. Think they can do it, Ward? I know it's more of a podcast question.
I don't know if they can. They got the speed. And they got the dominance on the line, but I don't think they can.
No.
Especially since Christian Rhodes only had that 4 carries for 90 yards yesterday.
No.
These games were all yesterday, right? We had South Grand Prairie winning in the afternoon, Arlington Bowie at night. Grand Prairie took out Arlington Sam, Houston, and Lamar with the big one against Arlington, which has got, according to Diggs' calculations and everybody's, but he's the one who actually did the calculations. That's got Arlington on the brink of being eliminated here.
Yeah, because right now we got Bowie and South Grand Prairie both at 5-0, and certainly teams can play and beat Bowie or South Grand Prairie in the last couple of weeks. They do play each other, but if that doesn't happen and we end up with a 3-way tie at that for 2 spots, it looks like Arlington will be the odd team out because once they go to points, they stay with points. And again, if you remember we talked about yesterday, or if you're listening to us, this was 21-0 at halftime. Arlington, Lamar scored 35 straight points. They completely flipped it, and they needed every single one to jump over Arlington in the tiebreaker. So congratulations to Lamar. Did we give him a shovel, Ward? I sure hope not.
I don't know. That's a good question. I think
that would clip badly.
We may have to clip that one. I think that was bad luck. All right. How about my boys from Naaman Forest? I mean, come on. I mean, you called for North Garland causing ruckus in this district, but man, for a team that wants to make the postseason to go out like that, I think that puts them down and out. We talked about that Wiley East crazy finish yesterday, and Saxey just put it on. South. That's your new ibuprofen there. If you're feeling bad, give them a little dose of South Garland. You start feeling good.
This district gives me headaches.
Well, you need to go play South Garland then, Kenny. You got 1 more year of eligibility out there. Get on out there.
Every time I think I got a pulse of this district, dude, the rug gets pulled up underneath me. I just don't get it. I don't.
Well, how about this? We talked about it in the press box, Kenny. 7 teams. Wiley East is in. They've clinched. 7 teams still have a statistical chance for the 3 playoff spots, and everybody technically controls their own destiny. Everybody, if they win out, they're in. That's all you gotta do. 7 teams can win out. Wiley is excited about this. Wiley is ecstatic because they're back.
Exactly. They thought they were cooked. They ain't cooked. They're ready to do some cooking.
Yeah.
All right. I'm waiting for the big one coming up next, 10-6A, because this is the one that everything's going wild. I talked to Diggs. We had an injury in that Heath game. Their quarterback went down, Prosper Neal. We got to figure out what that injury's all about. North Forney and Rockwell won the other night, but Longview shutting them down to 150 yards offense. A lot of that has to do with their quarterback not being in there. But still, Heath was an offensive squad. Now they're sitting at 3-1. Longview, guess what they are, Kenny? 3-1. You know what Rockwell is? 3-1. North Forney, 3-1. Forney's 3-1. Rockwell's 2-2. But Forney's 3. There's 4 3-1 teams and a 2-2. They all battle each other, except I think Forney gets a Tyler Legacy game in there somewhere. But this is going to be a wild inning. I couldn't right now predict who would be the fourth team that's not going to make it. I don't know who it's going to be. I'm actually leaning towards Heath with the injury, depending on how bad it is.
As I said, that's the $1 million question. I mean, that really will alleviate a whole lot of things. If he's not coming back, I think things settle pretty much nicely where everybody controls who's going to be in there. But that's a huge injury late.
We had them number 1, Kenny.
Yes,
we had Rockwell Heath as our number 1 team, and now they lose out. They lose to Rockwell. They're going to lose. They're going to basically be at a 3-3 tiebreaker where there's nobody else tied if things kind of go the way we expect them to. And we go from Heath number 1 to Heath going out. We gave Step so much props. It was like, Step got this one on Heath, and he end up being retroactively wrong if Heath doesn't find a way to make the playoffs. And all of a sudden, the Rockwell roaches are coming out, or not the Rockwell, the Longview roaches are coming out on Twitter. They're excited again, Ward. All the people who have been all quiet this year are coming on to my mentions because they won that game.
We're going to hash this thing out next week. But we got Longview coming to North Forney. We got the Heath Rockwell rivalry next week. We're going to hash some stuff out here and see who's really.
Let's hope that the injury's not as bad as it is.
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's hope that.
Let's let the best teams win on the field.
Absolutely.
Well, the best teams won in this yesterday: Duncanville, DeSoto, Lancaster, and Waxahachie, all with significantly big wins. Cedar Hill still probably looking as the 4th team to get in there because they beat Lancaster 1-1.
But we need to find some offense in Cedar Hill, though. I mean, we need to find some offense again over there because it's been ugly the last few weeks.
Put it on a milk carton.
I've explained this a couple of times, and I keep going to social media, Ward. I know you tell me to delete all my social media apps. I'll be a happier person. But there are people who still think Waxahachie is going to be the number 1 seed in this district. We've got that figured out. Duncanville is going to be number 1, DeSoto 2, Waxahachie 3, unless somebody gets upset. That tiebreaker is decided. So ignore what you're reading on the social media. Listen to Diggsy, listen to Ward, listen to Step and Kenny. We got all the information on this stuff, but we got this decided, Ward.
Maybe they're assuming there's going to be a big Skyline upset coming in the future. All right, 3-5A Division I. I believe these were all yesterday. Brewer with the big win over there's our Brewer guy. He's pretty happy about that. Big win over Foster. They get Denton Ryan next Thursday up at Denton. Aledo we were shocked at the score last night. It's even more shocking when you see it again. 72-10. Asa with the big win over Granbury.
I will say this: I love Brewer. So I don't mind them pumping it up a little bit. I love going to the Bear Cave and basketball every year. So it's nice to see Brewer do that. But he's definitely excited.
One little tidbit that I was not expecting, Ward, that Step shared with me is that he expects Granbury to be going up to 6A. That's huge as well, because now you may be pulling Granbury and Aledo out west potentially, depending on how the districts shake out. Or, Ward, we're going to get that 10th district, so you might have to go do some producer rearrangement stuff. If we give you a 10th district, Ward, I don't know if you know what you're going to do with yourself.
Yes. Where am I heading to? Abilene? I can't do it. I tried that with Trinity at one time. 4-5A, these scores came out yesterday. Huge, crazy finish to that OD Wyatt Pascal game, but that puts Pascal on the outside looking in right now. Saginaw with the big shutout win, and props to South Hills for getting one.
Yes.
5-5A, that score as he's changing as we go. Lone Star, they had a tie game at the half, but they took care of the second half, beating Wakeland 34-13. You guys were both at that one. Any thoughts on that one? Because all the other ones are Thursday games.
Diggs, I think we kind of spoke about it earlier. You know, they sputtered in the first half, but they poked the bear a little bit and, you know, got things rolling in there in the third quarter with 2 TDs. But still, it just seems it's not clicking on all cylinders. There's something there that I can't, for lack of a better phrase, I can't put my hands around it to see what it is exactly. But it just doesn't seem like they're clicking the way we thought they would be clicking by this time of the year.
And part of that could be Wakeland is better than we give him credit for. I think we have a lot of negative impressions about Wakeland from the Reedy game. And again, Wakeland, one of the reasons this game got muddied down was because Wakeland got 3 turnovers. Now, a couple of those turnovers were just full on, slip ball kind of a things, not actual forced turnovers. And that put Lone Star behind the 8 ball as far as their positive progression. But at times, it was like big play, big play, big play. I did not get to see those sustained 10-yard, 15-yard, just down the field kind of a things. And when I'm thinking of the big picture of Aledo, I'm thinking of Highland Park. I got to see that at some point. Yes. They're going to still get to play Reedy, so maybe they'll get to show us that against Reedy. But a very underwhelming performance from Lone Star, which is kind of funny because they beat a undefeated 5th-ranked team in our area by 3 scores with 3 turnovers.
I'm worried that they got the 3 big stars on offense, but then maybe that's what they have. That's what they do have, and that's it, because Trey Ray had 263 yards, 100 running, 100 passing. It seems like if those 3 guys are the guys you're keying in on with Hoyt and Gross, maybe you find a way to make them fumble or whatever you were saying. There's some slip up somewhere else. I don't know. That kind of worries me a little bit.
And losing Ryder Nix doesn't help.
Yeah, that's true.
That doesn't help going forward. That's a big weapon. So yes, it'll be really interesting. I think it's time for the Lone Star defense, to get some 3 and outs. They help.
They look like they did all right today
in the second half.
Second half shutout.
Second half shutout is pretty good. 6-5A Division II. These were all yesterday. Newman Smith wins big over Brian Adams. WT White. Actually, that was today. And they won even bigger over Molina. Our turner with the win, and then getting the game for first place, or at least a piece at first place. West Mesquite against undefeated Creekview. That was all West Mesquite, and that sets up their home game with Newman Smith next week.
The trifecta. The first part is it's been established.
you got a tough spot there, Kenny. You're going to get out of your proximity, or are you going to follow your boys Newman Smith? You got a decision to make.
Absolutely no, I'm not heading to Mesquite.
You're going to Mesquite unless it's the playoff. Unless it's the playoffs, you won't find them there. Hey, you talk about Tyler Diggs, and you talk about they score. And they stay in games by scoring points. They scored points tonight against Midlothian. They put up a big bunch, and Midlothian just happened to get 1 touchdown more to get the win. Red Oak with the win over Burleson Centennial, and Highland Park with the big win last night.
I got to go read up on this, but the one comment I heard about it was this was another Tyler High collapse. So I don't know what it sounds like Tyler High was up a couple scores and Midlothian came back at the end. So big win for Midlothian to overcome that. But still, Tyler High has that win over Joshua that we're talking about, even though they have the loss to Burleson Centennial at this point. So we're going to have some sort of tiebreaker chaos in this. But Red Oak, Midlothian, and Highland Park look like they're in. Tyler High, Joshua, Burleson Centennial, we'll figure it out.
We'll have to figure it out. Got another spot available. All right, 3-5A Division II. The game tonight was Colleyville Heritage and Mansfield Summit. Summit with 3 turnovers is probably the reason why they are 1 touchdown short from winning this one. It looks like it was going back and forth in this game. But Heritage gets the big win, and Dixie's going to tell us what that means for the district. Now, who's looking good?
We got 2 problems here, or not problems, but 2 things to consider. Arlington Seguin, after the 22-21 game, is feeling great because now they feel like they can control their own destiny. If they can beat Summit, they can take care of business there. Somebody said Tyler was not up. I'm just telling. Okay, well, tell us what happened, Logan. Give us a play-by-play about that. We trust you.
Tyler was not up. Well, he said it. He should have capitalized the not part. Tyler was not up, Dixie.
But in a 3-way tie now, if Colleyville Heritage, Summit, and Timberview tie, that is going to take Timberview to the 4th seed, which means they're going to be back on the road. They go from 2 seed to the 4th seed, and they're going to be going to Prosper to Walnut Grove or Melissa. Either way, we have to be neutral about that. We got a district championship game coming up, so that's tough for Timberview.
Absolutely.
That's a big.
And they
one.
got that thing in. They put it at like the exact right time too. 5 o'clock over there. They got it in before it hit the ground. All right, we saw some of these scores yesterday, except for the Memorial Liberty game, which actually was a pretty entertaining game, according to my guy Pat Doney, and you two guys were there.
Yep.
He's like, "You sure you don't want to highlight this one on the show? It's pretty entertaining." So we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it later. But Anna with a big win, Melissa with a big win in Walnut Grove. I don't know if you guys got to see that on Twitter, his speech to the players after the game, because apparently they were all sulking and everything about the game. He's like, "Dude, that's what you got to do sometimes. You play crappy, you still get wins." And that Coach Allison let him know it's nothing to be ashamed of against a tough team like that.
Just because Diggs says you should win this game by 28 does not mean you will win every game by 28. Sometimes you just got to win by 3.
Coach Allison.
Quit listening to Diggs.
Coach Allison, man, that's a leader of men, man. He can coach my kid any day of the week.
Good guy. Like I told you, Kenny, you saw him too. All the Prosper coaches were out tonight.
Yep.
Coach Gilchrist from Richland was there as well. Well, the lights went off at Dixie's house, man. He's dark as night. Hello? Are you still there?
Are you still there? Escape from New York? He froze.
He didn't pay the electric. We can't have Dixie freeze. He's the wrong guy to freeze up, man. He went dark on us.
He's got everything there.
That's hilarious. The
one guy Dixie froze up on us now.
I'll pull him out, man. I gotta pull him out. Put us both in. Well, let's talk. Let's me and you talk a little bit more about that game today.
That was great atmosphere today, Ward. I mean, it really was. And I think I told you earlier. I said that felt like a November game.
It did.
It was overcast.
It was a Friday. It was the afternoon.
What bright, sunny, and 1,000,000 degrees. It just
felt like the times we get together at a 1 o'clock game after Thanksgiving. We're like, "Hey, Kenny, where are you going after this? Where am I going after this?" And I was like, "This is week 9. Why are we talking like this?" But it was a terrific game, and it led up to the hype. It absolutely led up to the hype.
It led up to the hype, and you just feel bad for the extra point, being missed. Yeah. That's the only, I guess, scrimmage on the deal is because it was not. We didn't get extra football, I guess. That
would have been a wild finish too,
dude. But
imagine having an overtime situation.
I was thinking about this at the game tonight. That 4th and 15, the extra effort to get to that point. 3 different occasions, to break those tackles and to get 16 yards on that was.
That's why I think the timeout wasn't taken, because he dove for that first down. So much excitement. The mind must have not gone somewhere else, because I expected him to dive for that first down and then immediately call timeout, but that just wasn't happening. And
I think you brought up the excellent point that I shared with people tonight was, why take the extra timeout in your hip pocket when time is the crucial at that point in time? He should have called the timeout right then and there. You still had one left.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yep.
All right. Well, we got
a power outage, Ward. Did you? You're gonna love it when you go watch back up, because I could see my screen go full black, like my background.
Plus,
there it goes.
We were joking. I said we were like, Diggs is so into high school football, he forgot to pay the electric bill. Man, they done shut him out.
Escape from New York.
I was giving my speech to Walnut Grove, and all of a sudden, God says, "Shut up, Diggs.
You can't talk to Allison like that." Here's the 5-5A scores of last night. By the way, before all heck broke loose, I was planning on going to that Samuel Woodrow Wilson game. We were going to have a camera at that joint. It looks like it was a pretty nice little game.
Yes, it was.
Over there at Forester.
That's Bruce with a big win over Adamson. Samuel with I consider that an upset over Woodrow Wilson.
So do I.
That's a big win for them. And
make sure these games aren't going to be forfeited. Make sure we play them by the books and keep going. All right, Terrell, we talked about this yesterday. 70 points on the board. 50 points on the board for Midlothian Heritage. Corsicana had a huge running game and got that thing done. But, go ahead and move on to 4 if you'd like. We said the Carter game was today. Whoop, there it goes.
Because we didn't really get to talk about 4A very, very much. But one thing that I did hear in the press box, which is big, that in an Eastern Hills, Carter, Riverside, and Southwest, the way that District 5 4A D1 does, if there's a three-way tie with those teams, they take the highest team out and then go back to head-to-head. So Carter, Riverside still may be eligible for a playoff spot. So we're very excited about that.
That's what my buddy Brian Goss said today. I looked at him twice. I said, "Are you sure?"
You talked about that big Castleberry win. They keep on rolling as well. Big wins by Salina and Sulphur Springs. Salina's going to be going through some stuff the next couple of weeks. So anytime they can get a big win, and I think they have this next week off, maybe they get themselves together.
Probably good timing.
Yeah. Carter game's the one I told you about. That was today. So was Pinkston. Big wins for both of those guys. Shutout win there for Carter. Kimball with the big shutout as well.
Kimball with almost a 70 burger.
Yep. Wow. Big wins in this district, like all around. Nobody was within 6 touchdowns of the others. So. The have versus the have-nots, they call that.
We talked a little bit about Benbrook yesterday. We didn't think that was – I know.
But we didn't get that Glen Rose score, and now we do. Glen Rose – is elevating themselves to that next level right now. 3-5, but they're playing really good 3-5 football, relatively speaking.
I know that clock better been running at some point and not stopping. Ghetto Bills, we talked about the Crum win and Van Alstyne with the win over Farmersville.
That was big for Crum to beat Sanger last week, then to come back and take care of business the way they did this week. That's pretty good. Big
point total for that crazy offense over there at Canton as they took care of Ferris. 55-15. And Kemp's still struggling. Didn't Kemp the team that Sunnyvale went off on last week?
Yeah, they won 77-0, but the computer projections had them a 79-point favorite. So, they had a drop. So then they had to make a statement against Quinlan Ford because they did not like you people in Pick'ems. There are 6 people that picked Quinlan Ford in the Pick'ems, and they had to make a statement.
I never go against Jill McDill, and she's not even the coach on that football team. Okay, Vernon with another big one. Vernon's having a really nice season, by the way.
Yeah, they are.
We expected them to. Peaster over Ponder. I was hoping Ponder would be a little bit better this year, but when they go up against equal talented teams, they end up being on the end.
They haven't played well since that game-winning field goal. They have not.
Grandview, another big win. Whitney, West, they're all getting big wins out there in 5-3A Division I. Take a look at Palmer and Life Oak Cliff. You got me pulling for Life Oak Cliff, Diggs, probably because you pick a player from their team every week. But that's kind of when they play the big dogs like this, I start pulling for them a little bit, see how they can do. Pottsboro is the team that I picked to win, and they did win. Who else picked them? Anybody? Raise your hand.
I did.
Oh, okay. Dixie? I didn't hear anything from Dixie. Maybe the power went out again.
Okay. I raised my hand. It's just over here.
You
need to put the left hand up. I thought you were doing it for the Commanders.
No. I want you to read all the scores for District 7-3A as your punishment, Ward. Just say them. Say them all.
Commerce 64-0, and Winsboro won 55-22.
Well,
is there another one? Oh, Malakoff. They ended up winning in a non-DFW game, 61-0 over Emory Rains. Rains being the key part now.
Mike Jones came back.
Who? Mike Jones. Brady and early. That's too early for that game to be.
Too early to be called. And apparently the rains came for Clifton and Toller. So we'll have to find out.
Diggs, you got a soft spot for Toller. You got to explain yourself there.
Well, it's suspended. Where they can play tomorrow or something?
That's right. The game's not over yet, Kenny.
It's not over yet. It's not over yet.
You want to talk about a big upset? Holiday had like a 30-game winning streak in district. Not quite the elite 100-game winning streak, but Wichita Falls City View.
Yeah, that is a big one. That's a big one.
It is a big win.
I didn't expect that one. Munster has been talking about playing Holiday all off season, and they played them.
Valley View back to not scoring.
Yeah, they got it in there. If they got a point somewhere, they can always take with them.
A couple of 50.
Bells with the big win. Gunter doing Gunter things.
Our house is currently pulsing. We're like about to have another outage here.
All right, we only got 40 seconds. Can you make the 40 seconds?
As I've been telling you.
Let's go 2A then. Alvord over Tioga.
It's not Gunter. It's Gunner.
Gunner. Sorry, I did
Yes,
say the city,
it's
didn't I?
Gunner.
Yeah, please.
Ward, get
I've
ready
been
to
chastised many times about that.
Ward, get ready to know who Tioga and Wolf City are. You're going to see them in fantasy next week.
Oh,
District
my goodness.
7-2A, Bosqueville, Valley Mills, Rio Vista, another forfeit game. District 9-2A, how about Paul
win.
Pewitt with a big win over Rivercrest, Cooper over Alba Golden, Como picked in over Quinlan Bowls.
All right, the dump is coming in 5 seconds. I hope you all enjoyed 2 episodes of the recap this week.